Hello students, this is Instructor Williams and I will be showing you a fundamental video on understanding Excel and how to navigate within Excel. Excel is used for, I would say, data analysis or financial analysis for functioning departments such as accounting, payroll, and things of that nature. You just finished up Microsoft Word, which is a word processor, and it basically dealt with things like memos, documents, letters, and tables, and things of the likes. Now, one thing you have to understand with Excel, it has the ribbon, just like Microsoft Word, and you have your ribbon tabs up here. You have the file, which takes you to the background view, and you have home. And as you can see on home, you have the clipboard group, you have the font group, and you have the alignment group as well, like you did in Microsoft Word. You also have page layout, which functions a little bit differently or have some other options that Word doesn't have. But it's similar, just organized in a different way. Now up here is what you call your tabs, okay? And within each tab, you have your groups. As you can see in the home group, we have a clipboard group, font group, alignment group, and so on. And not all groups, but some groups have what they call dialog box launchers. You have a little square in the lower right hand corner with an arrow pointing diagonally to the bottom right. As you can see here, the number group, the alignment group, the font group, and the clipboard group has that option. As if you look in the styles group and the sales group and the editing group, you will not see the dialog box launcher. As you can see why, because um, it's actually giving you the information for each object without pressing anything, like the conditional formatting. And they actually give you a little more button with this little down arrow to the right of the word, and you just click on that and it will give you more options to choose from. Now, the one thing about Excel, a lot of people always think that formulas or functions are the most difficult. And I beg to differ because formulas is probably the most easy thing you will use because you don't have to know math or science or anything like that. You just have to understand what formula or function that you need to use. So you actually have to understand math in a sense to understand what formula you want to use. You really don't have to write out the formula unless you're going to do some type of complex formulation of numbers. And you will not be doing that in this class. So understanding formulas is your least of your worries. Dealing with charts and graphs and organizing your spreadsheets are probably the most difficult things to do because it's easy to skip over some things. But I tell you, the book is excellent. It gives you step by step instructions. And if you take the time and go through it, it shouldn't take you no more for each exercise 45 minutes, half an hour to 45 minutes. And you have to give yourself that time. You have to sacrifice that time to actually learn this stuff. Um, I, I recommend that you take your time with this stuff and you won't be so frustrated as if you were to just try to read through it and think you know it and just do it. I find out the people that knows how to do this stuff, and if they just fly through the instructions, they'll make the same mistakes that you make. So it's all about paying attention to detail. And if you look at a lot of job descriptions out there, that's one of the job descriptions is paying attention to detail. And this course is actually helping you to do that, whether you realize it or not. So let's move on to charts. So when you're dealing with charts, you want to basically make sure you select all the data that you need. And if you look up here, what I have highlighted, this is what they call headers. And this is what gives you information within your charts. Now, the charts is not going to be in such a way because I'm just giving you an example. And here's also a header down here. Now, I'm going to select a range. Now, a range is when you're dealing with two or more cells. So I'm going to select my starting point, and I can tell this is my starting point, and I show you how you can tell where you start. Well, we know we're going to start with A2 because I selected A2. So I'm going to select A2 and my range is going to be B16. Now, you can tell your starting point is because your starting point will always not be highlighted or grayed out. So my starting point was A2 or cell A2. And if you look here in Excel, you will notice the columns are in letters and the rows are in numbers. So that's a good little thing or nifty thing to understand. Also, when we're dealing with charts, we want to go to the insert group and then it would tell you to go to insert. That will be the first step they tell you is to select the tab that you're supposed to be in. The next thing they would tell you is to select the group to be in, whether it's the tables group, illustrations group, add-ins group, charts group. So it would say go to insert, or it would first tell you to select the data. All right. Then it would tell you to go to the insert tab. Then it would tell you, it won't say tab, but it'll say insert, and then it will say charts. And then the third thing it would tell you to do is to select one of these icons right here. And if you notice, all of them are not labeled. So just put your mouse over the object and it will give you information about that object. Now, the arrow next to it is what they call the More button. I will click on the More button, and now I have more options to choose from. So here I will go to like the 2D column. I choose that. Now, when I insert the chart, you will see that another tab appears, which is the Charts tools. And then within the Charts tools tab, you have a Design tab and a Format tab. Design basically deals with, you know, the the style of the chart, okay? Whereas when you go to format, it's actually dealing with the cells or the fonts or things of that nature within your chart. Now, one thing I want you to look at, because they will ask you to know what you're looking at, is when you're in the format tab, you have within the current selection group, you have a little box that tells you what area you're working in within the chart. Okay. Also, sometimes when you insert a chart, there's a little quick menu that they want to tell you to work with. If you don't see it, just click and drag it out a little bit. And there goes your quick menu right there. And right here, you have your chart elements, your chart styles, and your chart filters. So sometimes I can understand where students might not understand what to click on, or when they say quick menu or chart elements, you can get kind of lost there. So that's a quick little easy fix for you to do. Okay. So the next step is, okay, you see what I have selected here. I have the outer border selected, which is the chart area. And I know it's the chart area because when I go up here to this box right here, it tells me I'm in the chart area. If I click inside here, you'll see another little rectangle go around a selection, and this is what you call the plot area. And if I look here, it tells me the plot area. Also, what I can do is just go up here and select wherever they want me to be, and it'll do it as well. And that will prevent you from making any mistakes. All right, see the chart title and plot area, and it does it for you. Okay, so just keep in mind when you're working with charts to remember to go to the current selection from the Format tab in the current selection group and just look at the area that you're working in. Or you can just make that selection if they tell you to go to the chart area or choose a chart title. You can just select it right there and you'll basically be selecting the exact thing that they want you to select. And if you look here, you have the horizontal, and then you have the vertical. Okay. Now this will end the first part of our video for Microsoft Excel. The next part will be dealing with functions to help you understand how the functions work.